This video teaches you in detail how to program. Double-click to open the machine software. Select Administrator Permissions and enter password 1234. Whether the pop-up returns to the origin, open the inside of the machine to check whether there is any interference problem when the working head moves. If there is no problem, click Yes. Enter the width of the PCB board and the width of the debugging channel. PCB L300W200. We input to 100 mm. Click Adjust, and the machine automatically moves to a width up to 100 mm. After clicking, the pop-up window will pop up. We need to check whether there is any interference problem in the channel. If there is no problem, click Yes. When done, click Close. Confirm the direction of the PCB entering the machine, because it will be transported in this direction in the future. Place the PCB at the entrance and click Load PCB. The PCB is placed at the entrance of the machine channel, and the machine automatically transports it to the stop position. So what do we do next? Next, we need to make the number of templates, such as barcodes, QR codes, characters, etc. Click Recipes, then Barcode Template. If there is a template content, you can modify it based on someone else's template, and we will create a new one without it. We click News. Then we select the required template, with barcode, QR code, text. We make QR code template, click QR code. Then go to the blank editing area and click again. This QR code should be placed in a blank center position. Next, we set the size of the QR code. Set the size of 5 mm and check the effect. Here is a lock that either gets bigger or smaller at the same time. Enter 6, QR code size directly increased. How do we place the QR code in the center of the panel? We can set the X and Y coordinates to 0. Coordinates are 0 to be centered. You can also click it and it will be automatically centered. We need to set the following content: QR code size, QR type, center, set laser parameters, etc. QR code type, we usually use the first or third type. We choose the third type of QR code. It is best to choose the type according to customer requirements. Let's look at the first type of QR code and the third type of QR code. Data matrix is suitable for stable machine reading in extremely small spaces and harsh environments, while QR code is suitable for people to quickly scan with their mobile phones to display more information. Other QR code types are rarely used and are rarely used. We mainly use these two types. These are all different types of QR code formats. We choose the appropriate QR code format type. When creating a template, we first select the QR code type and then modify other parameters. We next modified the size of the QR code. Length 6 mm, width 6 mm. Next, we need to check if the QR code is centered. The X, Y coordinates are 0. Next, check the QR code engraving mode, fill mode, point mode, or circle mode. Click Open to check. There are 3 modes: dot mode, circle mode, and rectangle mode. You can choose the one that suits your needs, or you can choose none of them. If no mode is selected, it will be filled mode. Let's pick one at random and see how it looks. I select the rectangle mode to see how the QR code appears. Click OK. You see, QR codes are now displayed using a combination of small squares. Take a look at the differences between them. Let's switch to other shapes. Let's select the circle mode and see what the QR code looks like. Let's switch to dot mode and see what that looks like. This is the effect of displaying QR codes in different modes. Let's switch to rectangle mode again to see the difference. We generally engrave UV purple light in white oil, using the filling mode, that is, we do not choose anything. Nothing is selected, just fill mode. This is no fill line. We need fill line. We click fill. I have no choice now. Then we're going to enable padding. Click enable fill, then click wrap edge once. Select to engrave once around the edge. Remove the reserved outline option. Then change the filling method. This is the filling method. Click to switch to a different filling path. This is the fastest. We choose fill line average distribution. Other options we do not use. These two parameters are modified according to the actual situation. One is the spacing of the control lines, and the other is the spacing of the control edges. The smaller the spacing, the denser it is. The spacing between this line, you can set it yourself. You can choose according to the actual display effect. This spacing is usually set according to 0.05, 0.04, or 0.03. You can modify it and then click Confirm to see the effect. Click OK and it will press 0.05 to separate. The lines are filled in. If you think the edge spacing is too thick, we can set the edge spacing. This shows a thinner display. Because some customers think the edge spacing is too thick, but some customers think there is no problem. No need to modify. If your company thinks there is no problem with this edge spacing, you don't need to modify it. If you set the edge spacing, then the empty areas will be displayed a little more. I directly confirmed that the edge spacing parameter is not set first. We can try manually engraving this QR code first to see how it works. We're going to demonstrate manual engraving. You can just click behind this window or click to shrink this window, or you can directly click minimize. Click here to see the template window just now. We moved the workhead to the PCB white oil position. Click move, and then hold down the left mouse button to drag. Hold down the left button and drag the window. We're going to hit the move button first. Press the left mouse button with your hand and don't release it. Then drag the window. Get familiar with this manual movement. Move to the area where the white oil is located. Before engraving the QR code, we first check whether the PCB thimble is supported. Is the PCB jacked up and clamped? This is the cylinder supported by the PCB. It's up now. You click to release it, and it goes down. Click again and it goes up. After the PCB is clamped, we can engrave the QR code. We click on the QR code and place it on top of the white oil area. This QR code is placed there, where the workhead is engraved. The QR code is placed there, and the laser engraves there. Then we click the engraving button. We click on this laser engraving. OK. Now the machine has engraved the QR code. Why can't you see it? Because it is white oil, it is too bright. We will dim the light source. Click on the light source to debug manually. Dim the usual lights a little to see the QR code. Let's move this window a bit to see the effect of the QR code. 2 QR codes engraved and repeated. Click OK. Then you can find a place to re-engrave the new QR code. To carve. How to see the picture of the actual engraving. Look at the actual picture. There are 2 places. The first is a small window, and the second is to click on another location, and it will appear. If you feel that the parameters are not suitable or the size is not suitable, you can modify it. Let's say we reduce the size of the QR code a bit. We first box the QR code and then modify the parameters. Select this QR code. Then modify this size. Modify the parameters to 4. We need to select this QR code before we can modify the parameters. Then enter the content in the QR code. After the QR code size is confirmed, we next enter the content of the QR code. Choose Custom. Enter the required information according to the client's or company's requirements. If it is fixed content, enter fixed content. The content has a variable relationship, and we enter the content of the variable. You can only choose one type at a time. First, I choose fixed content. The first one is completed, click OK. Then, we add another piece of content. Click Add. The second content, I choose time as the content. Select the display time style you need. After selecting the style, we click Confirm. The current time is the same as the time in the computer system. After the addition of time is completed, we add another piece of content. We added the serial number. We chose the decimal serial number. Then enter the length of the serial number. No need to enter the temporary serial number. The serial number starts at 1 by default and cannot be modified. If you want to modify the starting serial number, you can only modify it from the program, not here. The current serial number starts at 1, and if you want to modify it starting at 23, you can only modify it in the program. Next, let's check whether the content of the rules we have formulated is correct. Here is the displayed specification content. Let's check whether this specification and content are correct. The first fixed content, the second is the date and time, and the third is the serial number. And it's organized by these 3 rules. After the production content is completed, we next check the parameters of the laser engraving. Here are the parameters for engraving. This is the number of times the content needs to be carved. 1 represents carving once. This is the speed of laser engraving. Assume to set 1000. Because we are UV engraving, the power and current do not need to be modified. We only modify these two, the frequency and pulse width. The product of these 2 parameters must be less than 990. We only need to set these 2 parameters. These 2 parameters should not be set to high. If the frequency is high for a long time, the laser will attenuate. For this frequency, we usually set the parameters between 20 and 40. We decided according to the effect displayed after the QR code is engraved. Parameters 20 to 40, mainly for white oil, are set like this. This pulse width parameter depends on the situation settings. For example, I am now setting the parameter to 10. The following delay parameters are set to 0, 150, 150, 50. If the QR code is not clearly displayed after engraving, you can set the pulse width larger. If the QR code engraved is not clear, the QR code cannot be scanned and the pulse width and frequency can be repaired. Here are some parameters for switching on and off the laser delay. The first is to turn on the laser delay, set to 0. The second is to turn off the laser delay and set 150. The third is the end laser delay, and the parameter is also 150. After these parameters are set, we manually engrave a QR code to check if the effect is okay. Click to zoom out. Click the QR code icon to move to a blank position. QR code is smaller. Okay, next we click to engrave this QR code. The machine engraving is completed. Use the mouse to click casually in the blank area, and the actual effect will be displayed. If you think the engraving is not obvious enough, you can modify the parameters. If you think there is no problem with the engraving, You don't need to modify the parameters. This pulse width parameter needs to be set between 10 and 30. If there is no problem, we don't need to modify the parameters. Let's set the pulse width to 15 and re-engrave a QR code to see the effect. Try setting 15. Click to shrink this window. Click the QR code icon and place it in the blank area, then click Engrave. You see, the depth of this QR code engraving is significantly heavier. If you think there is no problem with this effect, we will save this template.